What's up, movie lover badasses? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood, and today we are going to review Skin Trade. Here's a quick plot synopsis. After his family is killed by a Serbian gangster with international interests, New York City detective Nick goes to Southeast Asia and teams up with a Thai detective to get revenge and destroy the human trafficking network. Now we're going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad, and we're going to give you the badass. First up, the good.
Turn on your B-movie brains, folks! We have kind of an international East meets West type of deal with Dolph Lundgren teaming up with Tony freaking Jaa. It's nothing you haven't seen before, but it's a nice, solid, sincere effort on the part of the filmmakers and everyone involved. We have a really fun cast. We have Dolph Lundgren, Tony Jaa. We have Michael freaking Jai White. We have Peter Weller in a bit of a cameo. We have Ron Perlman as the villain. And yeah, he's not the greatest villain. He's not the most remarkable villain you're going to come across. But it's Ron Perlman. I love seeing Ron Perlman. Any chance I can get to see Ron Perlman, I'll see Ron Perlman.
We've seen a lot of movies, folks. A plethora.
A what? A plethora.
And we have come across a lot of shit. A lot of straight-to-video shit. But once in a while, there's a diamond in the rough. And we're talking about action movies, straight-to-video films like Undisputed 2, Undisputed 3, Ninja 2, Universal Soldier Regeneration. But majority of it is shit. Because they're cheap, they're low budget, let's just crank another one out just to make money. And usually they're a bunch of garbage. Unlike this movie. And now for the bad.
We had a little bit of shaky cam, but nothing too terrible. We kind of teetered the line with having some editing issues with the fighting scenes again. I don't know why a lot of Asian cinema is trying to take American cinema cues when it comes to fighting sequences.
Strange.
Stop editing your fights. You have Tony Jaa, Michael Jai White, and even Dolph Lundgren. He's a martial artist in his own right. He knows what he's doing. You have people that know what they're doing. You don't need to edit your fights to make it look flashy. The movements are enough. The choreography that was there was very competent. There was no need to do the choppy editing that they did, but I've seen much worse. It wasn't too distracting. It was just noticeable. And this is, again, an international film. We have Thai actors in here, namely Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa is full-on speaking English for the most part of his role in the film. And he does a really good job for someone who English is not his first language, but you need to be warned. They give him the cheesiest 80s dialogue. I mean, we're talking you leave in pieces one-liners, okay? We have some, I was giggling. These lines would have sounded funny coming from anyone. Yeah. But it's just the fact that Tony Jaa was speaking 80s one-liners. I was rolling. It was so freaking adorable to hear him. Tony Jaa, he's another one of those action martial arts actors who acting was not their main professionary goal, and they kind of just stumbled into it because of their martial arts, but they just happen to be very good at emoting. You have a select few out there. Michael Jai White is one of them. He happens to be a very capable actor. Scott Adkins is another one. And my boys from The Raid, you know, they're all, a lot of these guys, they happen to be martial artists turned actors, but they're good at emoting. Tony Jaa is very good at emoting, so don't let the cheesy dialogue that they gave him deliberately detract from the performances. Other than that, everybody is really solid. Nothing's too cheesy in this for it being a B movie. Some people might have some problem with the accents. Again, we have Thailand people speaking English, so yeah, the accents are going to be really, really thick. So try to just stick with it. You know, you'll pull out of it. It's not a big deal. It's nothing too terrible. But some people might be like, what? But it's not that bad.
And in my opinion, I think the cheesy one-liners kind of work for this type of movie.
Yeah.
So for us, it wasn't really a negative. It was kind of a positive, but it may be a negative for you. And now for the badass.
Yeah.
There's some pretty freaking cool action in this little movie. I mean, I was pleased. Obviously, I've seen better, but I was pleased for what they could pull off. There's some pretty cool shootouts. There's some pretty decent stunts.
People get jacked up.
Yeah. I mean, you got a scene where Dolph Lundgren's on a bike trying to get away, and then, ooh, we got Tony Jaa just running after him on top of the rooftops, flipping around. But the two best things in this film, obviously, are the two main highlighted fights. Okay? We got Dolph Lundgren versus Tony Jaa, Michael Jai White versus Tony Jaa. Once I saw the trailer to that, I was like, oh, I'm in. I am in, people. I am in. And the fight between Tony Jaa and Dolph Lundgren was surprisingly well done. I was very surprised. It was actually a pretty good fight. And Dolph Lundgren, was doing all his own stunts. Tony Jaa was knocking him in the walls. The camera was left there so you could see that was him. I was very surprised. I mean, come on, let's be honest here, okay? Mr. Dolph here is not young and not so much of a spring chicken anymore, okay? The guy is old. Okay, keep in mind when you watch this fight and watch that fight scene, Dolph Lundgren is old, okay? But they pull it off really good. I mean, especially for a guy who can barely run. I mean, have you seen Dolph Lundgren run? It's painful.
Yeah, but it could be worse. It could be Steven Seagal running.
Are you okay? Good. And of course, the finale fight between Michael Jai White and Tony Jaa. Best fight in the film. Even though I know I'm being picky and it might sound like a little sour grapes, I've seen better. As she pointed out earlier, the camera angles, a little bit shaky cam, a little bit too much cuts, but not enough to hurt the fight. And another thing we had an issue with is they were filming it and it was very dark and sometimes it was hard to see what was going on. Thankfully, though, we did have one amazing track shot.
And for a second, I thought we were going to have another moment from The Protector where it's like this continuing shot and just keeps going and fighting, or that hallway sequence in that episode of Daredevil. And it started off with Tony Jaa and Michael Jai White fighting on the outside of this long kind of a building, like a structure with windows and a door. And it was all set up where all they had to do was, you start with the camera, go through the door, and they're fighting, and that's what we started off with. So you were like looking from the outside of the building in through the windows, and they just kept following them, and they followed them for probably a good 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh, please keep going until you crash out the other side of the building.
I know.
But they cut it, and all of a sudden we were inside of the building just for them to go crashing into the outside of the building again. It's like, you could have held that shot the entire time.
Yeah.
And it would have been amazing just to see these two go at it constantly, flipping over bookcases or whatever the hell was in this one particular structure. Yeah. It would have been so much better if they had just kept going. And
kept going, a couple more seconds.
For some reason, they made the artistic choice to, suddenly we're inside, and now, okay, it's just going to be your standard fight.
But it was beautiful because it was one camera shot following them. No edits, no cuts, just the two masters going at it and doing a little bit of stunts along the way with the props. And it was just beautiful to see. So that was a highlight, even though it was cut short.
Oh, another thing. We had squibs in this movie. Minimal CGI blood. That was quite nice. Harking back to the days of the 80s with RoboCop and God knows, 80s. There's just a sea of squibs. Squibs everywhere.
Squib city.
It's a beautiful thing. So overall, it was really nice seeing Tony Jaa play a completely different character. I'm accustomed to seeing him as the country bumpkin, which is fine. But he kind of got to spread his wings a little bit and play something different. That was nice. The story, the movie overall, luckily doesn't look cheap. There are only a couple scenes here and there where it was like, oh, we're back, we're fine, we're good. So, that was nice. Some people might have a problem with the ending because there is an ending, but it is also left open should anyone be interested in a sequel. Some people might want a very big answer to a very big question that is left open in this film. I loved that the movie was like, no, we're in uncertain territory here, and are we successful in this endeavor that could possibly be another film, or we don't know. And yes, in true 80s fare, Not everything is going to be realistic in this movie. You're going to see a lot of things happen where you're like, well, you should be dead and you should be dead, and why is he dead and why are you not getting arrested, and we're just going to let the... Because badass.
Yes.
That's why.
Don't ask these questions watching this film.
Yes, this is a true 80s B-movie throwback. Don't take this anything other than what it presents itself to be. Just try to go into the movie with that mentality, and you should be okay. Don't expect the gold standard.
So we give Skin Trade 3.8 out of 5 Ninja Stars.
So, have you seen Skin Trade? If you did, what did you think about it? Great B-movie or complete waste of time? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And we will see you next time. Where's Fat Samurai?